Hello and welcome, RCSchim in the hangar. Today we will take a closer look at the Creality K1 MAX large printer, and I will show you why this could be the printer that makes all of my other printers unnecessary, and their only advantage being they outnumber him. Let's dive right into this video after my wonderful logo. As this video will for sure get a bit longer, there are chapter marks. The idea to ask Creality to send me the K1 MAX, even though it's been out for a couple of months already. I have a few of those larger 3D printers, Artillery, I'm talking to you, and I was not really happy about those Bedslingers. Why not getting an enclosed printer with a large build volume and solve all of my demands with one device? It is a Core XY printer. That means the bed only moves up and down slowly. It doesn't have to wiggle back and forth full speed. And so the potential for bed adhesion problems where your benches swim away, those Core XY printers can print way faster than the Bedslingers. They are quite reliable now and they are nicely priced. Directly at Creality it's around $800, which is way less than it was initially last year. Let's quickly talk what's in the box. It's a box in the box again. It's exciting. That's the part of my job that I love. Unboxing stuff. Oh, it's a door. Glass door. Dangerous. Shattering glass. 3D printer memes. Whoa. Max. It was work. On the Max you have a glass door on top as well. The build plate is a flat surface one. Quite simple to follow these instructions. Screw on the handle. Display unit is exactly the same as on the normal K1. Get a nice wrench, glue stick that I don't want to use, some grease, a spatula, scraping tool, an anti-clogging needle, tools including the nozzle swap. That must be the nicer ones of the side cutters that I have. And one of those USB sticks. Oh, and quite important, spare hot end, a total hot end with the silicone cover, the hot end with an installed nozzle, in case something breaks. That's a nice bonus. Saw on the webpage that they now have a unicorn nozzle. So in order to get access to the nozzle, you also need to unscrew the Lidar and then unplug it from the side, or else you will break the connector. This looks like the standard hot end, not the unicorn one. If you get the K1 MAX, you also get a MAX spool sample. Okay, this is a nice size comparison. The normal K1 has been modded to some extent. The 270-degree hinges, they are nice. So the door opens up all the way. The side spool holder for easier access. And also this part where you can have the filament sensor here. And I installed a 0.6mm nozzle on this print head, because I also printed like wood and carbon, although Creality says please don't print carbon with the normal. Buy our K1C, the carbon version. Of course on the new one I will try this once again, and it's a lot of space. The K1 MAX comes with the nice camera per default. It also has this AI Lidar, so a little laser that's scanning your build plate and searching for errors or for spaghetti. In case your print fails, you will get a notification. And here you see the menu options, first layer detection, so it's not between each layer, it's just after the first. And you can check this printing paused due to faults. As it turned out later, this is the earliest firmware that I could get. The most important feature of course is the large build volume, but you know this by now, that's why the Max in the name. 30 by 30, 22 by 22. It's only 8 centimeters more, but squared. There are times where this is the limiting factor. And you want to print larger objects, and also if you have a lot of objects there and print them object by object, which I prefer, because if one fails the other one are not too affected, then this large build volume is also really handy. Like the K1, it comes with the smooth PEI sheet, and either you use a quite hot bed temp for PLA, or you apply some spray glue, or you could also get one of those textured PEI sheets. For this colored print I had to do a lot of filament changes. You let him retract the filament and then you unlock. So the extruder is unlocked and then you can unwind the filament, get the old one out, the new one in, feed it in as wide as you can until the resistance is too high. and then you lock it again, and then you hit just extrude. Of course, use the correct temperatures for PLA. It's 220 or 230, that's okay. For TPU a bit higher, for PATG or even ABS quite high. It has really worked each and every time, which is amazing. It comes with a very good auto bed leveling. The auto bed mesh tells the printer where to move up and down to compensate for skewed plates. But if it has to move up and down too much, the print quality will be worse than it should be. This print is a pretty good test of the first layer. Not perfect. There's a bit space between those lines. You see the bed is moving up and down quite a lot. But you cannot manually level anything. You compensate the bed level problem with little plastic washers that you can print out easily, exactly to the dimensions that you need, to the height difference. It's not a lot of work. It's a 5-minute print job and a 10-minute unscrew, insert washer and screw it again. Screw it again, yeah. It's a bit annoying that you have to remove the side cover for this, but now I can easier access those 2 screws from the side and insert the washer here, because from the front it's a bit hard. And this increased my auto bed level to now very minimal deviations. Little jump in the future where I already have the open Klipper with mainsail installed with a nicer web GUI, so that's the motivation for you to also do the routing part and the mainsail thing. And here you see the default bed mesh that's been probed before I added those washes. With 100 degree it even looked worse. It went down so much. You see I'm off 2 millimeters from highest to lowest point. On the 60 degree normal PLA printing I'm still at 1.6 millimeters almost. The current default, which is after the washes, already looks quite flat. And this is just 0.6 millimeters of range from min to max point. This will yield better results than the before situation. The built-in version checking on the firmware. For me it didn't work because it had the very first firmware on it and the check didn't see newer firmware. So I copied the image file from the firmware on the root, so on the main directory of this USB stick. I plug it in. If you have problems that he doesn't recognize it, reformat it. It instantly detected the new firmware, the old version, and this is really from last July 13039. And the latest is 1338 upgrade. So my firmware was so old that the firmware update process didn't work even. But it could trick you into thinking, oh, okay, that's current and there's nothing newer. When I tried update, it says, oh, it's the most current. This should take around 5 minutes or so. Firmware update is 124 megabytes. Rebooted. Now we have the root account info. That's good. And as on the K1, okay, you have to wait for 30 seconds. It gives me the password, root and Creality 2023. How to root this printer and how to enable MOONRAKER, the open Klipper version, which has way more features. And now we start this guide here. And on this nice page, you also find your way back, restoring the previous firmware if you ever need to. But now install the helper script, because this does most of the work for us. So first we connect to the SSH. I use the free app PuTTY, IP address. In case you don't find your IP address, it's in the settings menu, of course. It's easy to find. Port 22 SSH and open. Here we log in with root and the password Creality _2023. Bingo, we're in. We can copy this here, right click to enter this, and this will download the Creality helper script to the pass user data helper script. Enter, and it's now downloading and installing this script. Don't panic if something like this happens. Maybe just the download server is overloaded. In my case, I will try it once again. So on the second attempt, it worked. So now that we've downloaded it, we can once again copy, paste, and it starts this little helper script. So install. Now I want to start with the essentials, MOONRAKER and Nginx. Yes. Now that we've installed, let's say, the operating system, we can choose either fluid or mainsail. I always used mainsail and I like it a bit better. It's just a matter of taste. I will go with the option 3. Install mainsail. Yes. Yeah, and that was it already. So we're done with the essentials. And now if we start with 4409, which is the port of mainsail, quite sure that it's already running. And this is the basics of what you need. Let me take a quick look around. And now they managed to have this also all up to date. Great. Do we see a webcam? Internal webcam. Oh, that's easy. Okay. On my last printer, on the last K1, I had to manually add something here. Okay, so this is the current state after like just 5 minutes of pretending to know Linux and then just taking advantage of this nice install menu. So I installed MOONRAKER and Nginx, and I installed mainsail, points 1 and 3. Okay, you need endware to have Octo everywhere. So let's install additional tools. Of course, you still have the original Creality print web GUI. Wait a minute, which also shows the bed mesh now. I didn't scroll down further. In the meantime, the endware tools have been installed, and now I want to have Octo everywhere 19. Yes. I just need to go to this page. Enter the code here. Submit code. K1 MAX, finish setup, printer link established. And just like that, I have remote access to the Klipper interface here. In theory, you can also get away with just the standard software that it has on. It's already quite good. If you're a 3D printer nerd, you for sure do it, because then you can install Octoprint and have notifications and have so many additional features that you maybe don't need, but they are nice to have. If you just want to have a reliable printer that comes out of the box, maybe just do the firmware update. Also, if you use Orca Slicer and if you want to have the Wi-Fi print feature, you need the full open Klipper. If you have the original firmware from Creality, you can still use Orca Slicer, see the GUI in the device tab, but you cannot upload and print directly. You can export the G code to your hard drive, and then in the device tab, go to import, upload the file and start printing from this. It's a few clicks more, it's not as convenient, but if you want to save you from going to the Linux shell and routing and all so forth, then you stay in their system and everything works like they intended it to be. And of course, I wanted to find out how reliable is this really. And so far I only had one little issue where a tiny object moved and failed. And today, since the Sunlu filament that I bought arrived in the mail, I printed this in different colors. This amazing detailed forklift. The last print that I did just a few minutes ago was this FDM test. And this one is not the best, to be honest. I don't want to hide anything in my reviews. It has terrible overhang issues there that I didn't see earlier. But this was also quite a quick print with this Sunlu filament. Maybe it was either too hot, too cold or too fast. Stringing isn't terrible. In terms of the accuracy, all of the cylinders fell out, just not the 0.2mm one, but that is to be expected if you print with a 0.2mm layer height. I have a bit of ghosting artifacts here, and as I said, this corner is really a bit problematic. Maybe this needs different settings. And for a 1 hour and 30 FDM test, this is quite a good result. A really good result is this Birdfeeder plate. They often get destroyed in storms. Replacement parts are like $20 for a plastic part, really. So good application for large prints. This is almost 30 centimeter in diameter. ABS material. ABS is a bit harder to print, but then it has better properties. It's quite flexible and should withstand the next storm, hopefully. It had some issues here on these overhangs near the build plate, so not the nicest of quality. Could have been a cooling or ABS related issue. And it was around 6-hour print for this large print. But I still have the 0.4mm nozzle in it. I consider to move up to a 0.6mm nozzle to have faster large prints. I think I found a quite good test print. This flower, which takes advantage of the huge build plate. A lot of things that can move around if the bed adhesion is bad. And I'm printing it diagonally. Man, this is a massive bed. Okay, the first print worked. Something for the ladies. It came out really nice. Wall decoration. This time I thought it's a good idea that he prints his own side spool holder, because the spool in the back is really a bad joke. It can work though if you have the printer on your table, like I have the Flashforge here. It's still a bit inconvenient, but yeah. No super fast settings here, just conventional settings. I increased the wall count to 6 or 7 to have a stronger part. To finish the first layer, he will go into higher speed mode. Now it's faster. Amazing. About half the time in, print looks very, very good. Even those little overhangs here. Nice. Started to mount this part. Really nice part. Maybe the ringing will go away if I repeat the input shaping process, because during the input shape printer nearby printed. This is the AI scan. It tries to detect if something was wrong. It would cancel the print if he says there's something wrong. You see now he's calculating. This needs to be faster in the future. And yet another print that will take advantage of the hole. You can already guess what this is, maybe. Okay, my first TPU job on the K MAX. And you see the last print was a P51 Mustang wall art. Just gyroid infill without walls, without top and bottom layer. That's the easiest way you get something foamy like this. I designed it just in on-shape contours. Gyroid 8%, and this gives you this see-through mesh style if you ever need this. Very nice. Even though this max flow test from Teaching Tech looks good up to about 10 cubic millimeters of flow rate, my lid here I was trying to print, it failed. This looks under extruded, quite ugly. That's the lid that came out after nearly 2 hours now. No more under extrusion, but some stringing as to be expected. This time I applied some glue on the blade, not for sticking well, but as a separation layer. So glue has both effects, but yeah. Now look at that surface. That's really nice and shiny. Of course, this was very stupid of me. I could have just rotated this 90 degrees and printed sidewards, then I wouldn't have had a lot of overhangs just on the screw holes. But you see, even the steep overhang here works, and when it finishes this curve, this is a wall hook for a skateboard, for a large skateboard. This kind of half pipe thing here is 10 centimeters in diameter, and it came out beautifully. Not the perfect first layer here, but it's okay. But this overhang, oh, it works for me. Will this fit? Voila. Okay, another Birdfeeder tray is finished. We need a lot of those because winds destroyed them. This time I printed it in ABS. Took 6 hours on the 04 nozzle. This is the plate. Okay, the support. Yeah, that's nice. That's cool. The support's stuck to the plate a bit more, but it should be strong enough. The auxiliary fan set to 0 cooling. This is not 100% nice, but I think that's the ABS. With PLA I wouldn't have had these issues here. So you see, I've already printed a lot. It has been reliable to me. They give you like 80 or 90% of the performance of the competition to half the price. So this is a good value for your money printer with a lot of possibilities, with a large build room, with the fast speeds. Like printing at 300 millimeters per second is no problem for him. And this reduces your print times considerably. This is the final place of the K1 MAX in my shop here. The storage for the top plate, the scraping and side cutter holder, which was easy to print, side spool holder and the filament thingy. And for the bottom tube I have these better clips. They're not in the way anymore. Really reliable. Disclaimer, as always, I want to be a transparent channel. I use affiliate links, so if you buy these either from the Creality page or from Geek Buying, it doesn't cost you any extra. They will just give a little commission to my channel, which will help me to buy more filament and stuff for the hanger. Check this out on their page or on Geek Buying. I'm not decided yet. Officially, I think I cannot give you the link to the Geek Buying with the coupon code, but you, yeah, just message me if you need this printer. You can get it for 665 euros, at least in Europe. I don't know what the US prices will be. If you have any questions, leave them in the usual place. What are your experiences? Do you already have a K1 MAX? Did you change the hot end? What nozzle are you running? What slices do you guys use? I mean, I see a lot of the reviewers really like the Orca slicer because of its versatility. So am I. Totally a fan of Orca. The Wi-Fi print, the device tab, so many convenience features there. Thanks a lot for watching already. See you next time in my next review. Bye for now.